Hello everyone, I'm Loganathan from Loga QA Automation channel. Welcome back to the next video in our Playwright JavaScript series. In this video, we are going to see how we can handle the web tables we get in our web application. So I have taken a sample page where a couple of web tables are given for automation practice, and I'll be using these tables for this session. So this is the first one is a very simple one. It doesn't have any sorting option as you see here, and also there is no pagination option because it has very limited number of rows, and it's a very straightforward one, right? It is not dynamic, it is very constant and stable. But this one, depending on the actions that you do, the elements, the page is going to change, and also you can do pagination and go to next pages, and then you can stop at a particular point and then do your action on that table. Okay, that said, let's get started and see how we are going to handle this simple web table. Let me copy this. I go to VS Code, under tests, let me create a new folder, web table. And let me add the first test. Okay, and then let me import from Playwright test web table example 1 comma async. Okay, let's put the page.goto. Next, let's give it a couple of seconds wait. Okay, now let's see how we are going to identify this table. Let me inspect this table. As you see, this is the table DOM, and then this has tier body. The body tier body highlights everything right on this page, on this table, and then this has tr, and then it has tr. So let me go here and I'll first explain how generally the table will be. So first is the table tag. Next we will have tbody, then we will have tr, nothing but the rows, right? Under tr you see td, which is data or test cells. Test data or cell data, consider it in this way. So what I do first, I'll first identify the table. So let me see if the table has any unique values to identify. Okay, this is figure classes block table, that is what it says, and this one, this is tbody, this is table, and then this class is different. So we can use, or we can simply go with index also. Let me put table. It says 2 tables, so this time I can go with index. copy this, and then I wait, page dot locator, give it dot, let us try to highlight it, and then again let me give a couple of seconds delay. Nice. So let me run this program. It opens. Yeah, it highlighted the entire table and it came out of this. So now what I do is I'll try to read the data present in every cell and I'll print it. So how are we going to do? As we see, we can use tr and td, right? So for that, table 1 slash, let me go to tr, and for now I'll name it as tr1 and then td. For this itself, it should have highlighted it. It is not highlighting. Why is it not highlighting? Okay, t body and then slash tr, and then I give the tr as 1, good, slash td of 1. Okay, all right. So what I do, I copy this. So when it comes to table, guys, very important stuff to notice is how you construct your XPath. Okay, so now what I'm doing is first row, first column, this like this, right? So 1 comma 1 here, first row is 1 here, column is 1. So in this case, I know 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? Total of 8 test data is here. So it means 1 2 3 4 rows and 2 columns. So what I can do is I can go with the for loop for let I is equal to say 1 2, I is less than or equal to 4 I plus plus. So this is for row. So let me name it as R. No, so this is less than or equal to. So it start from 1 first row and then it has to go until 1 2 3 4 rows. So I give it as for let is equal to R is equal to 1. Let R is equal to 1. R is less than or equal to 4 R plus plus. And then I'm creating an inner for loop for let column is equal to 1, column is less than or equal to 2, and then column plus plus. Okay, and then I'm going to use this page dot locator Let me first highlight them one by one and then see if it is working. Page.locator, I'll be passing this. And then instead of passing, okay, I have to use the tilt symbol. Where is the single quote? For some reason I'm not getting the symbol. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pass here the row and column data in variable. So I put this row and C, but I don't want this to be a, come on, tilt symbol. How can I print it? Because my keyboard shows that as a key tilt word, and then okay, let me go here, tilt symbol. JavaScript printing variable in string. Yeah, this is the symbol I'm looking for. Literal. Cool. And then I'll replace this with this. I think I'm good. So it has to be with dollar. So let me use the dollar. Okay. Cool. So let me run this one more time. There is something going wrong. What is going wrong? Okay. 1, 1 is not a valid XPath expression. Evaluate on document the string table. Yeah, this is missing this. I'll comment this out because I don't want this table to be highlighted anymore. So I'll comment this out and then I'll run this again. It passed. I think it has highlighted, but it went very quick. Okay, so let me try to have a small weight added. Yep, now you see it highlights every element of the web table. Now what I can do, instead of highlighting, it can get the text content of every element, and then I can print this console.log, print the text content of every element. And I don't want that wait to work, or I don't want the wait. This time it can go fast. Yes, nice. As you see, item price, oranges, and then values are printed. So now we learned how to extract the value from table and print it here. And one thing you noticed, I have hard coded this value, right? So I have hard coded the number of rows and number of columns. But if we want to understand how many number of rows are there and how many number of columns are there in the table, it is very easy, which we already learned. So what we need to do, so let row count, I say, is equal to, let me copy this, page await, page.locator, and then I'll pass this as a locator until the tr, because you know that when I use this here, you see that it says 4, right? This is resolving into 4 rows. So I can get the count of it. And then I can use that here, the row count. Instead of hard coding, I can use that row count here. And similarly, if I want to know how many number of columns are there, it is here. Let column count is equal to, same one I copy paste, but this time I'll go until t body and then say tr1 / td column count, and let me replace this with column count. So I'll run this. Cool. So last time when the for loop was running, the row count and column count were hard coded, but now what I have done, I have replace them with variables, and these variables are calculated or identified during the runtime. Say tomorrow on this table, if a new row is added, then I don't need to come and change my program, right? I don't need to increase the row count as 5. Say another column is added, I don't need to come and change my program's column count to 3. Instead, if I have these two rows of code, it is going to pick the actual number of rows and number of columns from this table, and it is going to give it to this for loops, right? Okay, so we are clear now. Say let's someone is asking us, in this table, can you identify the price of the laptop? If someone is asking us to pick the price of the laptop, how can we handle it? Very simple. I go with the same approach here. Then I say that I'll first collect the text content in a variable. Let actual text, actual, what is it, item is equal to, okay, and it need not to go from column 1 to column 2 always. The column for loop is really not required for me, because I will always check the item in column 1 only. So let me give this as 1, td of 1. Okay, let actual item is equal to this if actual item is equal to, okay, let me say let expected item is equal to laptop. If this is the case, double equals, right, for conditional statement. If this is the case, then what do we need to pick? Expected outcome price. Let expected, or item price, I'll say. Item price is equal to td of 2. And once I identify the item price, I can break. I don't need to run the loop anymore. I can come out of the loop, and maybe this one, what I do, let this price is equal to, for now I'll put it as empty. I remove this let. So now item price is empty, but here it is going to read the item price. So I'll print it as console.log. Prices let's run it. So what are we doing? We are trying to find the laptop's price. The moment it finds that laptop row number, right, so it iterates. First is orange, so it will not match. Second is laptop, so it matched. And then once it matches, it has to go to the next column. So that's why we are increasing column number to 2, and then picking the text content. Once we pick the text content, we are putting it in item price, and then we are breaking it. Let's run this. Okay, the laptop price is 1200. So again, if the item is not present, say I'll say that iPhone. Okay, if the item is not present, it is going to print a blank here. See, iPhone price is blank. Instead, what I want to do is, this item price, if it never breaks, I want to put it as not found. Price not in the table. I'll give it like this. At the beginning it will be like not in the table, but once it is found, then it will be stored in this item price. So let me run this. Yeah, iPhone prices not in the table is what it prints. In case if I give laptop instead of iPhone, it is going to print laptop prices $1,100. Nice. It's a very simple table, and here what we have done, first we identified the table and we ensured that our X path that we have created is actually highlighting the table. Once we confirm that it is working, then we slowly developed an X path which will point to the row and then which will point to the column. So here again guys, so this table has a fixed number of columns for every row, so that's why I'm hard coding this. But sometimes what will happen is every row will have different number of columns. So in that case, inside this var you need to handle it, and it's a very rare scenario, but you should know how to handle it. That's why I'm explaining. 90% of the time the table's number of rows and number of columns are fixed, and you should be able to get the column count in this way. Otherwise, if the columns are different in each row, then don't just give this as 1. So you have to iterate the row numbers, and then accordingly you need to pick the column numbers, and then you need to perform it. Okay, what I mean by that is here you need to add one more line instead of here. So this line will come here, and then here we have to put R. Okay, so I'm just saying here you are going to give an R here, and use this symbol, that literal symbol, and use this dollar symbol, so that you would be able to read the number of columns of each row, and then you can iterate here accordingly. Hope you understand. If you don't understand, let me know. I'll explain you in the next video. Okay, so how we capture the row count, how we capture the column count, and after capturing, for printing all the values from the table, we simply used the nested for loop for one for row and one for column, and then we printed it. And for this particular requirement where I need to pick the item present in the table and then corresponding price, I was using just one for loop, but I was using the condition and then break statement to identify the expected values price. So this is how I have done the first simple table example. I have handled the simple table. Now let's see how can we handle the next table which is given on this page. So I'll copy paste this, Control A, Control C, I'll close this, new file, name it as test02.spec.js, example 2. Let's see, I'll clear all these, I don't want these now. Right, so for now I keep this as commented, and let me enable this, and let's put table 2 and see if it is first of all highlighting the second table or not. Says it is passed but didn't do anything, so I'm going to use one more option first of all, that is called scroll to the element, scroll into view if needed. Okay, let's run this. Yeah, So now it's crawled to the particular table where it is finding it, and then it is highlighting it, and it is coming out of the test. All right, now let me go back and then let me check how is this table constructed. And it is also very similar, t body, tr, and then inside which there are tds. So let me copy this and check. Instead of 1, let me give 2. There is table 2. So this gives me 10 rows. Nice, but there is a small difference, okay? And the 10 rows we are getting, it is under t body, and then these headers, right? The headers are under, I guess, t head. As you see here, this has another tag called t head, and that is where the headers are stored. So if you want the headers, then ensure to create your XPath using this t table, and then instead of t body use t head, and then go to th. It is not td, it is tr and th. So I'll put it here. Table, and then t head, and then it will have tr, and then it has th. Okay. Th is nothing but header data, header or title data, okay, or title name I'll say. And then this tr under t head is header row, and then this is header. Okay, so table will be the topmost element, and then under the table you will have two categories. One is the header, and the another one is body, and header will have all the header details and like column names or the titles, and then that is where you will find the sort buttons and all. And this one is all about the web table data. Okay, nice. So here it finds 10, so that is good. Then I can simply get the row count and column count by changing the table number here, the index of the table. So I get them. Let's first print everything, okay, as we did last time. I will simply copy the same program instead of typing or spending more time. Let me reuse it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's run this. Goes, highlights, and then it printed everything. As you see, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, likewise it has gone up to row 10 on this page. Okay, let's see how we can select this to, instead of 10, how we can select 100. Okay, so let me inspect this. It's a select, and it has values until 100, and this select has the ID. Any interesting or no, I don't see any unique values for the select. So what I do, I'll go with simple select tag, and the first one, there is only one select. There is a drop down option here. That's why this / select itself is pointing to this. So this time when we printed this, it was printing only the first 25 elements, right? So now what I do, I write a simple script. Okay, page await page dot locator / select dot let me say select option, and then I'll say 100, and then I will do the same operation. So before coming to this point, okay, the row count is already defined, so it is not allowing me to define it one more time. So console dot log, say I put into 15 times. Let's see. Let me run this. Okay, first time it is printing all 10. Now it is printing all 25. So let me go up. This is not correct. Okay, I'll run it one more time just for you to understand what is happening. Okay, so first time when it was iterating through the table, it was only finding 10 elements, but after selecting the 100 option in the drop down, it is printing 25 elements. The reason is, here first of all we don't have 100 elements, so the total number of elements we have is 25, so that is the reason it is printing all 25. Okay, so that is done. How to print everything after selecting this 100 is done. So next what I do is I'll work on the page buttons. Okay, I'll comment this, it's no more required, or I can set it back if needed. Yes, yep. I'll set it back to 25 itself. And once I set it to 25, sorry, 10, what I need to do is, let's see how many pages we have, we need to identify. Okay, this is button, and then class is dt pagination button. I copy this, and then control F. This is button dot pagination. Button says total of 5, 4. Okay, so if you see, these two, the next and previous, are also considered as pagination buttons. So let me see if there is any other way to identify these numbered buttons. Okay, so here it is role is link, but here the role is no, this is also link. Current page, data, dt box. What can I do is, so first I can read all 10, and then I'll click on this button, and then I'll read everything, and then I'll click on this, I'll read everything. As I have to click on this next button until it is disabled. Okay, so now this is disabled, so that is the point where I have to stop my reading. So let's first see if we are able to perform 3 times the click. Okay, and then we come there. So this button, what is this button? Next button, role link, and then class is this, and then next is here, aria label is also next. Data dd, there are so many, but I'm thinking which one I can base. Let me go with aria label, button, and then at the rate aria label is equal to next. Yeah, it is highlighting it. Good. Okay. So copy this and I come here. After selecting this, what I'm checking is await page dot locator dot get attribute it was a class, correct? So at the end it was a class which was saying it is disabled. Yeah, this was a class and it says disabled, but when I come here that disabled is no more appearing. So I'm going to go and then I'm going to extract the class get attribute class, and then I'm going to see if I'll put it as let is disabled is equal to our dot contains will go with contains disabled. It is disabled, then I'm going to stop. I'm not going to click on it anymore. Dot click. Okay, so here I'll use a not so now I'm going to put it 3 times, guys. Let's see if it is clicking. First of all, the button 3 times, okay, and then I'll put a console.log and I'll say that next button clicked. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, there is something going wrong. What is going wrong? Contains is not a function. Why is it saying it is not a function? Let's see if we can try some other options. Okay, I think it is includes. Let me change it to includes. changed. Let me save and then play it again. Nice, nice. So it clicked 2 times, and then third time it is not clicking, instead it is waiting. Why is it waiting? Let's see. Okay, so only twice it has to click, and the third time it should not click. That's why it is failing. This time it shouldn't have gone inside this if condition. Why did it go is my question. So let us first print. Oh yeah. This has to be read every time it performs it, no? Let's see. Cool. So only 2 times it is clicking. Third time this becomes false, so it is not getting in and not clicking on the third time. So this, I should not have it in this way. I should have it in a loop. How can I create a loop for this? Okay, I can go with the while loop. Let's see. Or I can go with do while loop also. So do while is very simple in Java script. So it is do, and then this is the syntax. Here I'll say while, and then here I need to give the condition. So the condition must be, it should be enabled, right? So is disabled includes, instead of that I completely copy this, I put it here, and then dot includes disabled if this is true. Yeah, I have to have one more brackets, and inside which I have to give a not. Nice. And then here I have to say click. Okay, let me disable these. Okay guys, I disabled it, and every time it clicks I'll put a message saying that console.log next button clicked, and I'll run this. So I should get the next button clicked only 2 times in my console. From there I can confirm it is doing its job. Let's understand where it is failing. Type error. Get attribute class dot includes. It's not a function. Okay, let me change that then. Let's see. Cool. So this clicked the next button twice. Now I can delete all the commented lines. And what am I going to do? Before clicking on the next button, I'll have to run this. Okay. Let's see. So this goes up until the 25th element, and then it starts here 10, 11, 12, and then it also goes till 20. But after it goes until 20, the last 5 is not picked. What could be a reason? Okay. The last 5 is not picked because it gets in here. The moment it clicks on the second tab, it gets disabled. So second time the next button, it gets disabled. So it is not reading the third time. So this will have to be handled. How can we handle it? We want this to be done one more time, then take a call. Do this, click next. Do this, click next and check. Okay. Yeah, interesting problem to solve. How can we solve this? Maybe I'll use while loop instead of do loop. Let me try this. So I'll use this while. No, even while will not work. Read, print, check. Read, print, check. This is a bad way of doing it, but still I'm doing. I'm keeping it outside the loop one more time. Yeah, this time it has printed till 25, but I don't like this approach. I don't want this to be outside the loop. Yeah, guys. Either it has to come before or it has to come after. Yeah, no other go. So this I'll have to put here. First time it has to read. Okay. And then what it has to do is it has to click on the button, next button, and print it. So this is the way. Yeah, for now what we can do is we'll go with this approach. Maybe in the next video what I do, I'll try to correct it. So let me play it one more time and then ensure that it is printing all 25 values by navigating to each and every screen. Yeah, it prints till 25. So with this, we'll stop this. So I would strongly recommend you to practice these and do it yourself. Okay, do not try to copy this program from my repository at the very beginning itself. So you do it on yourself. Try to create the XPath for table, try to create an XPath for your rows and the columns, and then try developing your XPath for the next button, previous button, and then do your conditionings, do your loops, and then check how this goes in case you have questions, and then go to my repository and then download this function and then compare with what you have done with what is given in these test files. That is the way you can improve your programming skills and improve your test element identification skills. Okay. With that note, thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing. Take care. Bye, team.